Without insurance coverage, contraception, as you know, can cost a woman over $3,000 during law school. For a lot of students who, like me, are on public interest scholarships, that's practically an entire summer's salary. 40% of the female students at Georgetown Law reported to us that they struggled financially as a result of this policy.
All right, believe it or not, those were the words of somebody that Time magazine is now considering as Person of the Year. Well, you heard it right. The Failing magazine is now elevating former Georgetown law student Sandra Fluke to the same level as, let's see, Winston Churchill, Pope John Paul II, Martin Luther King Jr., just a few of the previous world leaders to earn the distinction. And here to try and explain how advocating for publicly funded birth control qualifies Fluke for the Person of the Year. And Clifton Consultant CEO and Democratic strategist Marjorie Clifton is with us, and Concerned Women for America's own Penny Nance. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Great being here.
Marjorie, it's $9 a month at Walmart for birth control if women want to get birth control pills. You can go to online, get all the condoms you want. If you go to a bar in New York City, they're for free. You just take a handful on your way out. Planned Parenthood gives these things out to women as well, and supposedly to needy women, and that's in part funded with taxpayer dollars. Do you think she should be Woman of the Year?
Well, the reason that Sandra Fluke represents what maybe Woman or Person of the Year should be about is that she took a national stage, not knowing that she was, by the way, with dignity and grace, and talked about a very challenging issue, regardless of what you think of the issue. She was then raked over the coals. She was called a prostitute and a slut, but she continued to have a national and even global conversation with civility. And I think that, if anything,
wait a minute, but the foundation of what she said was false. It's not $3,000 over the course of a woman's career. And why should taxpayers be paying for her birth control? Why?
Well, again, you could argue the merits of her politics.
How about answering the question on the merits?
But the point is what she represents in terms of an issue. And if you have to look at this list, by the way, of the 100 people that were nominated by just the general public, it also includes the Ayatollah of Iran. It includes Ryan Seacrest. It includes Ryan Gosling. I mean, Ryan Seacrest, all I could say is he's a real-life Barbie or Ken doll. But beyond that, I don't know what he's done either. So Sandra Fluke, I would say, has a little more.
Or Ken doll. You're going to insult Ryan Seacrest?
Well, no, I'm just saying. But I think Sandra Fluke, absolutely. But what does Sandra Fluke bring to the table? More so than Ryan Seacrest. Well, don't tell him I said that.
Let me get Penny in here.
You know, even the idea that she would be considered is a slap in the face to about 60 million evangelical and Catholic women who are offended by the idea that we are forced to pay for someone else's abortion or abortion-inducing drugs. Her whole platform was advocating on forcing us to violate our consciences. This issue is not over, Sean. Liberty University's case has been remanded back down to the Fourth Circuit. Right. We will have our day in court. But the idea that Sandra Fluke is somehow held up as this bastion of womanhood.
But fundamentally, this issue, this is not true. And then also the entitlement mindset. Why should I pay for her birth control?
And why should the woman who basically took the national stage saying she wanted free stuff be the idea of the ideal woman? When we've got these young women in Pakistan who took a bullet in the head because she advocated that young girls should be able to have an education, women who are fighting in the Middle East for women's rights, women who are taking strong stands on behalf of real women's issues, and yet we waste our time on Sandra Fluke, who was just a patsy for the Obama administration in this campaign.
Go ahead.
Well, again, you know, you can argue the merits of her politics, but what she was doing was representing.
Why do you keep avoiding the merits of it?
Well, no, but I'll deal with it head on. But the issue is she's representing a group of voiceless in the United States in the same way that internationally there are different issues. And for her, what she's talking about are students. And for some women, pregnancy is life or death, and there are not women who have access.
Are you willing to sacrifice what Penny is bringing up here, something called religious freedom? Are you willing to force Catholic institutions to go against their own religious teaching and fund something that is the antithesis of what their religion is teaching them?
Well, as a Catholic woman, I can say what they're representing in terms of policy is actually a separation between church and state in terms of how we deal with the issue.
The Catholic position on contraception is well known. They're against artificial means. That's their teaching. You don't have to follow it, but that's their teaching. Do you want the government to contradict or force or mandate that they go against their religious principles?
Well, as a Catholic woman, I don't have to take birth control. That is my choice as a Catholic, and the same way it is for evangelical women.
You're still not answering my question. Did I not state it clearly?
Absolutely, I am. So absolutely, I am. And because, in fact, what this means is that we have an option of whether we choose to take birth control or not.
Do you
now,
want
funding
the state
a federal
to
program,
force institutions to do something that is against their religious beliefs? That's a yes or no question.
Well, actually, the way that the tax money works is not directly going in through Catholic institutions.
All right, she won't answer.
The answer is, yes, it is your choice whether or not to take birth control or whether or not to have an abortion, but you don't want me to have a choice whether or not I have to fund what you want to do.
Nor do
It
you
is
want
a violation of our conscience to pay for your abortion. Sandra Fluke could pay for $40,000 a year for law school, but not $9 a month for Walmart birth control.
Well, not all women can afford. Not all women can afford access.
a year for Title X funding for birth control. There's no dearth of birth control in this country.
Well, actually, the cost of unplanned pregnancy is far more than that of funding birth control.
And you're willing to sacrifice religious freedom to achieve this?
It's the cost is, if you want to get to an economic issue,
you're willing to force churches to do something against their religious beliefs.
It's not forcing the churches. The
churches the HHS mandate does force them to do things.
Yeah, and your bishops don't agree with you either, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right,
I know
guys,
that, but that's a whole other issue.
You want to argue with the bishop? I'll bring him on.
No, I said that's a whole other issue, the bishop.
All right,
yes.
We got to go. Thank you both. Coming up, 2 states